All right, Shalom, Yashrala. This is your brother David from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Ka Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. All right, I want to jump to this here couple of news articles. It's all dealing with the same deal, you know. Still talking about Israel over here. All right. I guess we'll start with this one. Nevertheless, all these articles are all saying the same thing, you know. It's just to show, you know, who the fuck the damn devil is and his hypocrisy. It says, this is a state of terror. Foes and allies criticize Israel over the use in the wake of the embassy move. All right. Russia, France, and the UK have expressed consternation over the legality of the U.S. embassy move in Jerusalem and Israel's heavy-handed response to the clashes it has provoked. Okay, so Israel is stirring up some shit. Now they mad about it, and then you'll see as they coming down. Now these people, all right. So what's going on is the how do you call it, the U.S. embassy moving to Jerusalem. You know, they basically trying to make that their capital. You know, but it says with them doing that, you know, it's causing these Palestinians and stuff to protest. Now they out there protesting, but yet Israel's coming down. As you'll see, they actually attacking them, shooting them with sniper rifles and all kind of shit. You know, and it says Israel's heavy-handed response to the clashes it has provoked, which has reportedly caused over 50 deaths. We have publicly criticized the move multiple times. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, said Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. International resolution declares that the state of Jerusalem, one of the most important issues of the entire peace process, must be resolved in direct negotiations between Israel and Palestine. Okay. The French Foreign Minister also said Donald Trump's decision made last year violated international law, but expressed particular alarm at the IDF tactics. So again, speaking of the least of them drawing them out and the beast gonna hate the whore, you see all these things being connected. You know, the other day we was talking about Israel, Syria, and Iran. Now you're talking about Israel, Palestine, and basically America and their allies in dealing with this move. All right. So all these things is happening because of what? Israel and America and their moves. All right. And everybody retaliating or their response to these things. It says, France calls on all actors to show responsibility to prevent a new escalation. French again calls on Israeli authorities to exercise discernment and restraint in the use of force that must be strictly proportionate. Okay. The UK has reaffirmed its commitments to keeping this embassy in Tel Aviv and said it was worried that the unilateral move could derail an already dormant peace process. All right. We are concerned by the reports of violence and loss of life in Gaza. We urge calm and restraint to avoid actions destructive to peace efforts, said a statement from a spokesman for the Prime Minister, Theresa May. Okay. Down here it says the Arab League, which comprises 22 Muslim states, said that it would schedule an extraordinary meeting over Monday's events, calling the dead Palestinians martyrs and Israel's actions immoral. The opening of the American embassy in occupied Jerusalem represent a step of utmost gravity, which I do not think the U.S. administration realized its real consequence in both short and long terms, and said his chief, there's a massacre there. There's a massacre there. State terror, Turkish foreign minister told the TV. International community must stand tall against injustice and lawlessness regarding the Palestinian matter. Condemning today's massacre is not enough anymore. Joint steps must be taken. All right. And so here you see some of the pictures here going on with this here protest. All right. You know, here's another article about this. Is saying no end in sight for the protest. All right. No end in sight. Palestinians keep protesting. Israeli forces continue to massacre them. All right. Palestinians will protest. Palestinians protest will not subdue after the U.S. relocation of its embassy to Jerusalem. Slovakia. says Palestinian protests will not subdue after the U.S. relocated its embassy to Jerusalem, and Israeli forces will continue massacring the protesters. Okay, so like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody was like, "Yo, I'm gonna continue to massacre you people," you will call them terrorists, serial killers, what else? Psychopaths. These are, what the fuck? The fact that we negotiate and all this and everybody calm over it and nobody up in arms over these words that they using shows the state of the minds of the people that we up under, man. They eyes ain't open to see the damn devil, you know? Some of these people, yeah, some of the sites are like that, you know? But, you know, reading through the spirit, that, you know, any and everybody could look at, you know, the Israelites and their plight. You know, y'all always talking about black this, black that, and Hispanics. Well, what about, you know, everybody got oppression coming to them. Well, what about everybody else? Like, well, see, we're not just only bringing out the oppression. We're not bringing out the oppression of the Palestinians. What we showing is the damn wickedness of this damn devil. All right. Not only is he oppressing us, but he oppressing everybody else around him. All right. This ain't no stories trying to get no sympathy or nothing for the Palestinians or whoever, whatnot, nothing like that. I'm just showing you how this damn devil get down. You see what I'm saying? It ain't just that he doing this just to us. We the main focus of all of this, but he do this to everybody else. He'd do this shit to his own people, you know? It says, I think the massacres by Israel will continue. The peaceful protests from the Palestinians will continue. So, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this is why we need salvation, man. Motherfuckers can write shit like this and don't nobody say nothing about it. It says, I think the massacre by the Israelis will continue. Does anybody know, am I the only person know what the fuck the definition of a massacre is? And they can just saying it like it ain't no big deal. Oh yeah, we're gonna continue to massacre these people. They're gonna continue their peaceful protest over there. We're gonna continue to massacre them. Alright? Kind of shit is this, you know? It says, I don't see any resolution, unfortunately, said Petraeus, a retired professor at Binghamton University in New York. He added that he believes murders by the Israelis are on the increase. I think that is a pattern that will be witnessed in the next period with Trump's increasing velocity towards Iran. Who knows how it could end, if not in a regional war? And yeah, we already know how it's going to end in not a regional war, but a world war. All right. These are just the things that's building up to that. Now, I don't know if this is actually who I think this is. This guy's name might be Petrus, not Petraeus. Yeah, this might not be the same guy as David Petraeus, but nevertheless, Petrus spoke to RT on the day the U.S. Embassy relocated from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, a move which he says is an absolute violation of international law. Okay, so wait a minute. You over here talking about Iran broke the nuclear deal. You talking about North Korea. You talk about all these other countries, Syria, violating international law. But what does America and Israel do? Constantly violate. But who is policing them? Nobody. All right. It says, he noted that such stance is supported by the European Union and other major countries in the world. Well, what they mean by these other major countries in the world is basically talking about these Edomites. Only the Edomites is backing them up. Everybody else is against their ass. All right. And some of these Edomites is starting to move towards them. But basically, hey, man, these people over here is, like they said, is a move which he says is absolute violation of international law. They stealing shit. Okay. The move, according to Petraeus, is seen as another one of these arbitrary actions by the neocons in Washington and among the powerful Zionist lobbies which have been dragging Trump by the nose on every issue that affects Israel. Okay. Reading this, it says that this says that agrees that violence is unlikely to end anytime soon. I doubt that the Palestinian protests will subdue and may even increase after the Nakba anniversary, particularly in light of the U.S. Embassy opening in Jerusalem. She told RT. Nakba falls on May 15th, which is the day Palestinians regard as a day of mass exodus from their land to result in Israel's establishment. Okay, now, this is going into something deeper than that. See, they worded it as far as Palestinians exodus. I believe it was either May 14th or May 14th or May 15th, probably May 14th, which is basically like Israel's so-called Independence Day. right? The day that they basically stole that land on document, So, yeah. So as you see, these things is bubbling up around these times, man. This is something that you should be watching in the news, man. We definitely in the end times, man. This ain't just some, things just happening. This type of stuff been going on all the time now, man. It's getting worse and worse and worse. The embassy relocation will serve as a permanent reminder of the illegal occupation, oppression, exploitation of the Palestinians by Israel. Okay, let me read that again. The embassy's relocation will serve as a permanent reminder of the illegal occupation, oppression, exploitation of the Palestinians by Israel. All right. And, as you go read through all of that, in the same way that they're moving over there with Tel Aviv and all that, or at Jerusalem, the same way that they slowly but surely moved in over here in the Americas. Slowly but surely, they just wanted a small piece of land. Now they wanted a little more piece of land. Now they wanted a small government. Now they wanted to unify this and that. Well, we can't have a government in between all these other governments, so we got to get that shit too. Now, at the end of the day, they own all this land. Well, that ain't enough. We need the whole planet. All right. It says the relocation of the embassy on Monday sparked protests in Gaza, with Israeli forces killing dozens of demonstrators, including children. Petraeus, the Palestinian government has labeled the loss of lives as a massacre and called for international intervention to prevent more deaths. All right. So, the same white man, he got, hey man, this damn devil. He get down the same way over and over and over and over and over again. Same thing he do like over here in America, shooting, kill unarmed black people. And then when they start to protest about it, you come down with your military on their ass, Here it is again. The South African government is withdrawing its ambassador to Israel in response to the violent aggression by Israeli forces in the Gaza border, which saw 55, including 6 children, killed on Monday. The latest attack was a result of scores of Palestinian citizens reported injured and wanton destruction of property. The Department of International Relations and Cooperations said in a statement on Monday, as cited by Eyewitness News, given the indiscriminate and gravity of the latest Israeli attack, the South African government has taken a decision to recall Ambassador Cissa with immediate effects until further notice. The South African also repeated its views that the IDF must withdraw from Gaza border to bring an end to the violent and destructive incursion into Palestinian territory. So everybody and their mama know that this is Palestinian territory, but yet Israel's over here just taking all their shit, make Israel look great again. And another thing with these damn people, all right, another thing about these Christians, how do you call them? These goddamn Edomite Christian groups, all right? Really, these Edomite Christian groups that's standing for Israel, okay? All they doing is funding terrorists, man. To keep it real with you, that's all they doing is funding terrorists. Hundreds of protesters gathered near the site of Jerusalem, Jerusalem's new U.S. embassy, leading to violent clashes with police and several arrests. Demonstrators included multiple members of the Knesset and about a dozen members from the ultra-Orthodox anti-Israeli groups who reportedly held signs that read "Jews worldwide condemn Israeli bloody brutality," and "Authentic Jewry never recognized the state of Israel." Okay, so just going through as you see these people out here protesting, Damn. Actually, I'm gonna read down through some of these things here, but it says, where was I at? Some 14 demonstrators were arrested at the protest, one of which is an aide to the Knesset member, according to Jerusalem Post. Footage also emerged from former Mohammed Baraka in a tense tussle with police officers outside the embassy. Okay. Protesters clashed with police, who formed a line to block demonstrators from reaching the compound, used force to disperse them, chanting the crowds took away their Palestinian flag. So, they can't even protest what they think is right, But Israel has the right to go over there and bomb these people. These people just walking around with their flags and voicing their opinions. The protests coincided with the embassy's inauguration, which was attended by 800 people, including U.S. President Donald Trump's daughter and advisor Ivanka Trump, President Donald Trump's daughter and an advisor, Ivanka, and her husband, Jared Kushner, who is also senior advisors to the president. All right. While the Day of Rage protests carried on a few kilometers from the new buildings, dozens of people, including 6 children under 18, were killed and over 2,700 were injured by Israeli forces during the March of Return protests in the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian government has denounced Monday's violence as a terrible massacre perpetrated by the forces of the Israeli occupation and called for international intervention to prevent further deaths. So, I mean, as you see, man, these Israelis is just constantly going, and, just it's stirring up and have all these other nations mad. We read about how the South Africans was mad about this. Turkey's mad about this. You see what I'm saying? All these other countries, it's just not affecting just one little country. And really, the Palestinians ain't big enough to stand up for their own self. It says, and Ankara has recalled its ambassador from both Washington and Tel Aviv for consultation. The Turkish government has confirmed. The Turkish government has also declared 3 days of mourning on Monday for over 50 Palestinians. Oh, man. Hold on, Salakia. All right. It says the Turkish government also declared 3 days of mourning on Monday for over 50 Palestinians killed in the Gaza-Israeli border. Israeli security forces opened fire on demonstrators gathering along the border fence to protest the relocation of the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Why is this so bad? First of all, how you gonna move your shit into some shit that's already stolen? It's like, alright. It's like you done stole somebody's car. Not only did you steal somebody's car, you done took somebody else's stolen radio and put it into that stolen car. And now you mad that the motherfucker want their car back and they want the radio back that they put in there. Be like, yo, man, this ain't your land to begin with. And you gonna try to move your shit over into some stolen land and expect us not to be mad about the shit? It says Turkey will react to this harshly, says President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. And Ankara condemned the massacre of Palestinians carried out by the Israeli security forces, adding that regional and global peace and stability will not exist until a lasting and just solution to the Palestinian question is reached. We strongly condemn the decision of the U.S. administration to move its embassy to from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, violating international law and all relevant UN resolutions. Okay? How the fuck you gonna create the UN, but yet America and Israel, neither one of them, these motherfuckers are the ones who always violate the most of the UN, what do they call them? UN resolutions. Esau is the one who violates the most of his own treaties that he write. This is the shit he came up with. He can't even abide by his own rules. It says, we strongly condemn the U.S. administration to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, violating international law and all relevant UN resolutions. We reiterate that this action is legally null and void, the Turkish foreign minister said on Monday. Turkey has also called for an emergency meeting of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation on Friday over the killing in Gaza. All right. They were even protesting in Istanbul over in Turkey. All right. Earlier in the day, South Africa recalled its ambassador to Israel after the news of Gaza killing. All right. A number of other governments have condemned Israeli actions in Gaza and the U.S. decision to relocate its Jerusalem. France again calls on the Israeli authorities to exercise discernment and restraint in the use of force that must be strictly proportionate, said Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, adding that the U.S. decision violates international law. So, I mean, it's not no conspiracy. These things are no conspiracies. It's not no bullshit that conspiracy theorists is coming out with. These is like the heads of states, other governors, or other governments, other heads of states and stuff like that calling out America and Israel. Like, yo, y'all are violating international law. You're violating UN resolutions. You're violating all these treaties. You're violating. You are creating massacres, terrorists. They called them out. They called them out for being the damn devils that they are. All right. And the damn devil don't give a damn. He just like, oh, well, we got the right to defend ourselves against protesters who might just be, marching loudly in their own territory. It says the UK remains firmly committed to a two-state solution where Jerusalem as a shared capital, said a spokesman for Prime Minister Theresa May. We urge calm and restraint to avoid actions destructive to peace efforts. Moscow has condemned the decision by the U.S. to move its embassy to Jerusalem. Okay, the international resolution declared that the status of Jerusalem, one of the most important issues in the entire peace process, must be resolved in direct negotiations between Israel and Palestine. Okay, and basically Russia said. So you see Russia, South Africa, Germany, I want to say France, UK, all these people is getting stirred up, and all these people have something to say about this deal. You know, all these people have a feeling about this. All right. You know, shit, they talk about the propaganda, but you know, I mean, I could keep reading on these here stories and all this stuff, but I mean, it's all the same thing, you know. It says Israel has launched airstrikes targeting Hamas in Gaza. Over 50 protesters have been killed at the border by the IDF. It said it was responding to terrorist activity and killed at least 3 terrorists. So, man, I don't even know how much more I could take it reading these fucking stories, man. It says Israel has launched an airstrike. Okay, they went over there bombing people, targeting Hamas in Gaza. Over 50 protesters was killed. So they killed over 50 protesters, right? But Israel said it was responding. Now, these protesters that they killed, or the people they killed, was the protesters. The protesters is because they didn't move the embassy over into occupied territory. So they didn't move their shit into somebody else's house. All right. So basically, you terrorizing and stealing somebody else's shit. And when they want to say something about it, speak up about it, you going to call them terrorists? You know what I'm saying? It said that it was responding to terrorist activity and killed at least 3 terrorists. So you had to kill 47 innocent people to kill 3 fucking terrorists with an airstrike, nigga. You couldn't just ran over there with a pistol if that was the case, or you couldn't ran over there and arrested them. This ain't got nothing to do with no terrorist shit, because y'all the terrorists, motherfucker. You just killing people indiscriminately because you the fucking devil. You don't need no excuse to kill nobody. You just the goddamn devil. Okay? The Israeli Defense Forces retweeted on Monday that one of its Air Force fighter jets struck 5 Hamas terrorist organization targets in a military training facility in northern Gaza. It explained the strikes was carried out in response to the violent acts carried out by Hamas over the last few hours among the security fence. The previous tweets included a low-quality video appearing to show people running to the fence. Okay? People running to the fence to protest. What the fuck they got in their hands? They got RPGs, rocket launchers, they got tanks and shit? No, they just run towards the fence with signs and rocks and shit, chairs and shit. It says the previous tweet included a low-quality video appearing to show people running to a fence. A tank approaches on the other side and fires. The fuck, man? You in an armored-ass vehicle, and you scared of a bunch of niggas running up on a tank, and you gonna fire? These goddamn devils, man. It says the previous tweet includes a low-quality video appearing to show people running to a fence. A tank approaches the other side of the fence. Approaches the other side and fires, causing the bodies to run. The video cuts to a number of different clips over its 48-second duration. Okay. The IDF also tweeted earlier that on Monday, an IDF aircraft and tank targeted 2 additional Hamas positions in northern Gaza. It said that it was a response to Hamas firing on IDF troops in northern Gaza. Okay. I mean, like I said, I can keep reading on this, but it just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Okay, like this shit is horrible, man. These people out here just killing people indiscriminately, left and right, left and right, left and right. And these people are calling them all out. Israelis' toxic influence responsible for extreme U.S. policy. Okay, and I mean, I can go through this story here too, but long story short, you know, America is doing whatever the fuck is gonna have to do, and the least of them is gonna draw them out. Israel's a little proxy, you know, whatever the fuck Israel. You know, they want to go out and say they don't. Oh, we being threatened by these protesters running up against a fence, so we got to shoot them down with a tank. And then when somebody like another country want to respond about that, then America, oh no, we got to go defend Israel. These goddamn devils, man. I'm gonna go ahead and close out with this. Lower Wilderness here, news articles was edifying, updating. You know, keeping you updated. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Stay strong. Shalom.